We've got some big news that we need to talk about, and it's not good. But it could be very good for gold and silver. Let's just say this. The wheels didn't fall off the bus. The wheels fell off the FedEx truck. But there's much, much more major stories that will impact silver and gold, will impact the general markets. We need to talk about them right now. We're going to talk about the big FedEx story, but there's also about 18 other stories that I need to mention to you quickly, which together in aggregate, I think shows that the economy is cratering, and that will be good for the price of silver and gold. Yes, you heard me correctly. Good for the price of silver and gold. It may not happen next week, but it will happen. The Fed will be forced to be less aggressive with their monetary policy, and that will ignite the price for the precious metals. Now, FedEx, what happened there? They came out with like horrible numbers, horrible projections for the rest of the year, and the CEO even went as far as to say that he believes it's becoming very evident that we are in a worldwide recession. And that makes sense to us, right? Because we count the number of FedEx trucks that come down our street on a daily basis, and we've noticed about a 13.4% decrease. Yeah, right. We don't count FedEx trucks. But next time you do see a FedEx truck, look for the secret hidden symbol in the logo. This hidden symbol, it's like kind of a mirage, not too far off from what we're seeing right now in our economy. Things look one way, but they can also really be another way. And some further evidence we can look at to this point is the fact that the Atlanta Fed cut drastically twice now in the last 2 or 3 weeks their projections for Q3 GDP growth. I think it started at like 2.6%, went to about 1.5%. Now it's down all the way to 0.5%. And remember, these guys, they're the most optimistic, right? They're not giving us the real numbers. They're giving us the most optimistic and artificially produced numbers possible. And we're going to run through the rest of the list of horrific news that we got this week regarding the economy. But first, thank you. Yes, you. There's only one you for joining me here in Ron's Basement. You sincerely are always welcome here. Be part of the group. We provide camaraderie as we navigate these choppy waters of the silver and gold investing horizon. We're always here for you. If you enjoy my content, you can subscribe right here. Give the video a thumbs up. That is very helpful. Turn on the bell notifications. Leave a comment in the comment section below. We really would like to hear from you. Your thoughts are important. U.S. industrial output fell in August by 0.2%. Look, not a collapse, not the end of the world, but it was negative. And again, that does not portray good things for the economy. That was actually the lowest number in about a year. Maybe you can mention that to someone at a fancy cocktail party this weekend, but if not, if they're not impressed by that, you can mention this to them, that 63% of America's small businesses, don't forget, that's the heartbeat of America. 63% of them have a hiring freeze right now. 10% of them are laying people off, and 40% of small businesses are having a hard time paying their monthly rent. But that's okay because the economy is great, right? A recent Gallup poll showed that 50% of U.S. workers consider themselves to be quiet quitters. Basically, what that means is they don't give a crap about their job anymore. And in some ways, you can't blame them, right? I mean, the money they're making, they can't really afford to fuel their car up, pay rent, or fill their stomachs with food. That same poll found that 32% of American workers consider themselves to be actively disengaged. Now, do you know what that means, actively disengaged? That doesn't really make sense to me. I guess that means they really, really don't care about their job. But actively disengaged, that's kind of like how I would describe my exercise program. Like I actively don't exercise. I don't know. Anyway, the bottom line is a lot of people just don't care about their jobs anymore. But that's okay because they're not going to have a mortgage to pay anyway. We got news this week that housing affordability is the worst in this country in 37 years. 37 years ago. That's when Ronald Reagan, you got to love his first name, but nonetheless, Ronald Reagan was president. And it now takes 36% of median household income to buy and pay the mortgage on the median house. And a lot of these houses don't even have basements. And did I tell you already that you're welcome to come back to Ron's Basement? I think I did. But in case I didn't, there is only one. You are always welcome to come back here. Subscribe right here. Now, also, when it comes to this real estate crash that we're having, the chief economist from Redfin, which is this massive brokerage for house sales in the country, he said we are having the worst downturn now since the great financial crisis. Things aren't looking good out there, folks. But in fairness, we do need to talk about one glimmer of hope in Joe Biden's great economic revival here in the United States of America. Apparently, applications for first-time unemployment dropped, and it was weird. It was like the lowest number in, I think, history. So from that perspective, I guess, all these quiet quitters, they're just like, I'm not going to quit my job. I'm just going to keep my job. Maybe that's why the first-time unemployment applications dropped so significantly. One thing for sure, if they keep their jobs, they can go to McDonald's. However, the CEO of McDonald's reported that he thinks the city of Chicago is in a state of crisis. Now, that's very important because Chicago, where I happen to have gone to college, is the third largest city in the United States of America. If it's in crisis, that doesn't look good for the overall state of the country. So when Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell wake up and see all this great news in the U.S. economy, they will have to change their stance. They will go back to printing money. And guess what? That will be good for the price of silver and gold. And we know gold has been struggling. As a matter of fact, if we close the month of September in the red, that would be the 6th monthly red candle in a row, which would tie an all-time record. If we go another month after that, October red, I don't know if I can stand it. Red is my shirt. That would be an all-time record. So we've been beaten down. And unless you think gold and silver are just going away, we know that rebounds do happen, will happen. We'll have a much happier time, more of a party atmosphere here in Ron's Basement. You'll all be invited. Until next time, you be well.